God, I hate this game. Mirror's Edge was being touted as an innovative FPS. It's not about shooting, but it's about parkour and free running, which is a great sport to watch. At first you're playing the game and you're having some fun in the first areas, and you just can't help but wonder why more developers haven't designed more first-person platform games like this. Then you screw up on a long jump and fall to your death because you can't see your character in relation to the environment. Then you walk backwards off the edge of a platform and fall to your death because you can't see your character in relation to the environment. Then you get shot to pieces due to not realizing that the cover you're trying to hide behind is inadequate because you can't see your character in relation to the environment. Oh, that's why. And that's why Mirror's Edge sucks. But let's go back in time to October 10th, 1995. The PlayStation's been out for 21 days, and then this title comes out. A game about a robotic rabbit named Robbit, the star of Jumping Flash, the first-person shooter on the PlayStation. But to be more accurate, Jumping Flash is first and foremost a platform game, then it's a first-person shooter. The developer Exact created a game in 1994 called Geograph Seal for the Sharp X68K, in which the gameplay between the two games is exactly the same. So Jumping Flash is the spiritual successor to Geograph Seal. And for being made in Japan, it's incredibly Japanese to the point where it's nearly an offensive stereotype, from the visual style to music to the cutesy sound effects to how the characters act. Jumping Flash was extremely innovative for its time. Compared to other games like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, which kept you in a maze, Jumping Flash was in an open world, allowing for full 3D roaming, effectively setting the standard for not only 3D platform games, but for first-person shooters as well. It combined both genres of gaming into a perfect mesh. And the controls are simple. X jumps, double jumps, and triple jumps. Square shoots your primary weapons, and circle uses your secondary weapons. This game predates analog controls, so the directional pad is what moves Robbit, and R2 allows you to look around. And when navigating through menus, circle confirms a selection and X cancels it. Your primary weapon is shooting twin lasers, and they don't really do that much damage, but then there's your special weapons, which are a type of firework, and there's 4 of them. The worst one is the Twisters, which sends out small little bombs that do less damage than your primary weapon, and these should be avoided at all costs. The Roman candle and rockets are on par with each other. The candle is a laser and the rockets are homing missiles. And the best weapon by far is the cherry bomb. It does heavy damage in its area effect. However, your best weapon is jumping. You can damage enemies by landing on top of them, and the higher your jump, the more damage you'll do, killing most enemies in one hit. And one piece of advice: jumping on the bosses while firing your primary weapon is the best way to defeat them. There's 6 worlds, 3 stages per world, including boss stages, for a total of 18 levels, and there's a total of 7 bosses, the last world having 2. What makes Jumping Flash such a good platform game in the first-person perspective is how the camera is positioned. It's very low to the ground, giving you a good idea where you are in relation to the environment. And when you jump, you automatically look down so you can see your shadow for a more accurate landing. And the camera seems to have a much broader view, allowing you to see more. The story borrows heavily from the Sonic series. It has an evil scientist that wants to own his own empire, and an animal goes to stop him. However, the evil scientist, Baron Aloha, has already succeeded in stealing giant land masses to make his own resort, and Robbit has to get the pieces of the planet back and bring Baron Aloha to justice. The levels are also pretty small, which means that it's not a very long game. So how long is this game? Get ready to shit yourself. Jumping Flash is only 30 minutes long. If you know where all the giant carrots are, you can finish the level in about a minute or 2. Now after you complete the game, there's what they call extra stages, where all the giant carrots are relocated and the stages are more difficult, but you can still complete them in under an hour. One huge plus about Jumping Flash is that it has no loading time between levels and worlds. So it's either doing it all in the background, or it's doing it during the short cutscenes for the worlds. Which for a game that was made this early, is astounding as most games had a loading screen. I'm gonna have to give Jumping Flash a gift from God rating, because at the time it was extremely innovative and is one of the best 3D platformers ever made. Although when Super Mario 64 came out a year later, this game was completely overshadowed and practically forgotten about. This game was released on the PlayStation Network back in 2007 as part of the PS1 Classics collection. If you got a PS3 or PSP, you have to get it. This is probably the most fun 30 minutes you'll ever have in a video game. And Jumping Flash also spawned 2 sequels and a spin-off. Jumping Flash 2, also known as Jumping Flash 2, Big Trouble in Little Moo, was also released on the PSN in 2009. And the third game is a Japanese-only release, Robbit. It was also released on the PlayStation Network, but also only in Japan. And Pocket Moo, which was released for the Pocket Station, which is also Japan only. Jumping Flash is a perfect example of how to do platforming in the first-person view, and should be looked at as an example if any other developers plan on making games that are similar to it.